Welcome back to another episode of the Student Athlete Sessions. Today we're joined by former Endicott Hooper, current content creator extraordinaire, fresh out of the D3 level, but now he's covering every level of basketball. His name's Jordan Pettway, again out of Endicott men's basketball. Jordan, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We like to start every episode just sharing with the audience where you're calling in from today. Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Queens, New York. I'm from Connecticut, but I've been out here for the last 4 years now, maybe. Like you said, I do a lot of content creation stuff, video producing, so my career kind of brought me out here. So
Nice. Yeah, just being around the city as a hub of basketball, I'm sure a lot of the content you make it covers all swaths. Sometimes you're in the studio, sometimes you're on the court, so I'm sure it helps to have a lot of that action happening nearby.
yeah, New York's definitely one of the biggest hubs for that. I knew that even beforehand because I'm from like an hour away from New York and Connecticut, so we have some of those New York ties. But being here, feet on the ground, it's nothing like it. So yeah, it's probably the biggest basketball market, honestly.
Yeah. Right now, who are you making content for? Are you employed by someone? Are you doing it all on your own? I know you got Shake Squad behind you. That's kind of your brand that you post under that we've seen. What's your setup at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm a video producer, and on-screen producer for Barstool Sports. I work with Hooping and Hollering, with former NBA player Jason Williams and Adam Ferrone. Well, formerly with Pat Bev. Before that, on Pat Bev Pod, I was behind the scenes video producing and social media managing for that. And then for my own content, I do like you said, Shake Squad Media. So that's pretty much covering like grassroots basketball, college basketball, kind of analyzing, recording, talking about the game. So pretty much a little bit of everything with that. So.
Hmm. Yeah, I know there's been such a proliferation of like the athlete podcasts and like Draymond. I'm in SF, so Draymond's is big out here, and
Mhm.
it always looks so casual, but I'm sure there is so much happening behind the scenes from an
Oh
editing.
yeah, definitely a lot going on with that. I'm grateful to have been. I don't think Pat was the first one at the moment, but he was one of the
He was
first.
early.
Yeah, very early. So that's my first move to New York. I think that was like 2022 or 2021. I kind of was just finishing college. So yeah, I've seen like the whole landscape change. Now everyone has one. We were like one of the first. So, and then he was actually playing in the NBA at the time, so it was cool to like travel around, talk after the games. But yeah, it's like it was definitely a different type of environment for sure.
Hmm. How about on the other side with uh, you know, maybe the grassroots side of things? When you come in, I mean, I'm sure there are gyms now where you are known, like you come in with your camera and they're like, "Oh, that's Jordan." That you have a reputation there, but is there still like, you know, maybe some excitement that like their level is being covered, or when you walk into a high school gym, like, is that part of what does it for you, like why you want to cover the local, or is it
Oh
something
yeah,
else?
yeah, for sure. That's where I started out with it. I love that. That was like a hobby even when I was playing in college and when I was in high school. I loved watching like home team hoops, in the lab, Dev in the lab, all of those like they were like crazy mixtape eras, like all that type of stuff. I love that off rip. And then when it was my turn after college, I wanted to stay around basketball. I never wanted to become a coach, honestly. I just kind of wanted to like cover it, like so I could like, because coaching, like someone's gonna hate you no matter what. You could be the best coach in the world. The
Right.
15th man on the bench probably hates you or something. I didn't want that at that time. So yeah, just eating and now to see me, all right, like getting my feet wet. I started out and then I was like just learning everything, actually being immersed in it again after coming from college. And then now 5 years later, like you said, I walk in the gym like, oh, Shake, what's up, what's up? It's like people might not even know my real name, just off of like my company, but it's been pretty cool, to cover that. And now I've built my platform to where people trust my opinion. People are reaching out to me asking, "Oh, what should I do with this? Do with that?" So it's always love, and then you see all the kids blow up. Like not like they start from eighth grade or freshman year. You see them go now. They're top draft picks and stuff like that. So it's cool to see where it starts from.
Yeah, I saw a recent post of yours. You were talking about the Thunder, and Jared McCain, kind
Yeah.
of how he's been playing well and how you saw him maybe back in like eighth grade or something, and now he's a pro in the playoffs. Like,
Yeah, I remember he was like the first time I ever recorded was at Nike Peach Jam. He was like a 16U kid back then, but he was like blowing up on TikTok and stuff. And I didn't know anything about it. Like I was just kind of recording. I posted him and like it kind of went crazy as well. He posted one of my videos. That kind of helped me in the beginning too, but like now to see his like stardom now. Like he's the biggest, one of the biggest NBA players, even though he's comes off the bench, but he's like one of the most famous players, young players now. It's just like I have so many examples of that. It's just like, oh yeah, I kind of seen that from the jump. So
yeah. Any other people that you think back and you're like, wow, I was really early on someone. Like who comes to mind?
definitely right now, AJ DeBonta. I watched him in eighth grade like dunk on somebody. Like maybe I was working with Made Hoops at the time. He like dunked on somebody. I'm like, yeah, I remember going back to I never really used to talk about like the grassroots stuff from my like casual viewer friends. I'm like, yo, that's you guys are gonna like one of your teams are gonna be relying on him one day. So he still didn't get to NBA yet, but to see him like, oh, number about to be number one draft pick, like it's hard to tell with the youth. Like you could be very good young and then end up not that good, but him it was like, nah, like he's gonna be one of the ones. So that's like the coolest ones so far. Yeah, yeah.
That's fun. That's very fun. Yeah, I'm sure the more time you put into this, the more, yeah, you have those. I think with the nature of what you do, it's not just like, oh yeah, of course you were onto him early. It's like, no, you can go back to the tape and be like, I was in the gym when this happened.
Yeah, like literally was in the gym and
Yeah,
with like around them. Like I was like traveling with teams and stuff back then. I feel like that's how I kind of got a lot of my early knowledge. Like it's just like, yeah, I was like I was there. Like I was around. I remember they had the squeaky voice and stuff. Now they're all 6'9" and all that. So
grown man.
mhm.
Yeah, what about for kids who want to be doing what you're doing? Because I know when you were in Endicott, you got an internship at Slam. Was there anything else like before that that was maybe like a formal step for you, or like something that you would advocate for other people to do if they want to follow your footsteps?
Yeah, like I said, it was a hobby beforehand. Like me and when I was at Endicott, I first got there. He's a great friend of mine now, but I had just met him, Drew Sawyer. So he played for Endicott before me. We're from like the same area, so our coach connected us. He was training and he was trying to like create content for his page and all that. We had like a videographer there or a photographer, but he didn't know how to edit. So I was kind of like, oh, yo, I know how to edit. Like that was always a hobby of mine. Like I played basketball. Of course, I love basketball. I wanted to be a pro and all that stuff like every other kid, but like I love to edit always. I don't know, that was just a hobby of mine. So like I started editing his videos of me and him like all the time. Just like scratching my interest, like would do it for different other trainers and stuff like that. Then I worked other internships, but they weren't like sports related. But like in my free time, if I had like a computer in front of me for my internship, let me just edit some random basketball footage, play with stuff. So I think that like scratched my interest early. And I always tell kids now, like, yo, like, especially now, it's very competitive compared to back then.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, you gotta like really love it. Like you might not get paid off rip, you might not make a lot of money, but if you like scratch your interest, keep getting better, like the opportunities could be endless. So.
Yeah. And like you said, those relationships too, like they come from going on a road trip with a team that, is a bunch of kids at some point are just following it around because you enjoy it. And then people come to know, like you said, they when you walk in there, like, oh, they're Shake. Like they
Yeah.
recognize you and your brand, and trust it more importantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's good advice. Um, let's shift gears a little bit. Maybe we'll get back to the content side of things. But I do want to talk about your athletic career at Endicott because like you said, you grew up in Connecticut and Bridgeport. You are a point guard. So I think you were talking earlier about kind of skipping the coaching path, which is such a normal career progression for point guards. But like coming out of high school, you ended up doing a post grad year at Putnam Science, right?
Yes.
What was that decision like, you know, maybe to take that extra year at Putnam?
Yeah, so throughout high school, I went to Notre Dame Fairfield, a pretty well-known school in Connecticut. I went to the state championship twice, all state twice. So I'm like getting all the awards that I could get, like in the papers and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I must be like pretty good. Like everyone's telling me I'm okay. And then my one of my teammates my freshman year, he was a senior, like star senior, one of the best players in the state, Danny Upchurch. So he ended up doing a post grad year, went to Putnam, and then went D1. So my senior year, I had to sit out my junior year AAU because I had to get shoulder surgery. So I'm like, all right, I can't get recruited this summer. I'm gonna do a post grad year. This is what Danny did. That's the path. That's the path I'm gonna follow. And like at the time, like my coach, like I think AIC was talking to me, a couple Roger Williams, and I'm like not hearing them. Like I'm like a kid at the time. I'm like, no, I'm going D1. I'm going D1. So like I was talking to a few prep schools. I ended up picking Putnam because I'm like, all right, like they had like Hamadou Diallo then, a couple other like high major guys. So like I said, I must be pretty good. Like let me go test this out. That was like a definitely eye-opening experience for me because like the we had like 24 kids there. We all played basketball. Every single person was good. We might have had 15 or 16 go like D1. So I'm like, whoa, like this is eye-opening. Like, what do you mean he's 6'5" and could play the same style of basketball as me? Like, I'm confused. I had to like elevate my game then. And yeah, that's kind of like how I ended up at a Putnam. I wanted just another opportunity to get seen.
For sure. Yeah. How do you feel like kids, okay, let's say they don't go to a prep school, like how do you think they can simulate what you just experienced? Like that context of, all right, this is a D1 guard. If they don't have that in their area, like what should they be doing from
Yeah.
in high school?
So I think it's very different now because you kind of could open up your phone and see everything. Back then, so I graduated 2016. Like we had social media and stuff, but only like mixtapes or stuff you're seeing was like the best player in the country. So you're like, all right,
Exactly.
I don't have to
Exactly.
be that,
Yeah.
but like I'm probably like I could be like a MAC level guard, NEC level guard. So you're just always thinking stuff like that. But now you could like go and type in Mac games or something like that. You could watch all these games. I'm like, I know a lot of kids don't watch games now, but you could go watch highlights of what low major guard looks like, and then you could be like, whoa, like he's actually really elite too. I know you're gonna look at the high majors, SECs and stuff, but you gotta start on the lower level. You gotta really humble yourself, realistically. Like I wasn't. I would say I was kind of like in La La Land, I guess. Kind of like I was like, oh yeah, like I'm good. I got all these awards, but realistically, I was in Connecticut. So it's definitely a big world in the basketball world. So I would think, yeah, you just have to do your research, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, get back to watching games. Like
Yeah,
almost everything is available online now. So
everything.
yeah. Yeah. It's true. And especially so with the portal, so many of those low major guards end up transferring up and,
Right, right.
everyone can play these days. There's a glut of talent. So it's
Yeah,
like,
especially you're trying to be a high school kid. Like no matter, say you're a high school kid, you come from your regular public school or something like that. Like you're kind of going, you like say you end up a mid major, it's like a St. Bonnie's or something, A10. Like it's like, all right, I want to get offered by St. Bonnie's, but they're about to get this low major or D2 guard that averaged 18 last year. That's 22 years old. How can you compete? You have to be ready for that. So I think it's like definitely more steps to take for them.
for sure. And as a school, they're going to take the proven asset
Exactly.
who's shown with a body of work what he can do and perform day in, day out versus an unproven 17 or 18-year-old kid. So
Yeah.
it's a tough landscape, but it is yeah. And plus with NIL too, it's like it's only getting more I think maybe exact, like your market value in a way. Like
Yeah.
if you're not getting offered, then you kind of
Yeah.
know where you fall.
Yeah,
But
the writing's on the wall most of the time, but as a hooper, you're like you have to be a little bit delusional. But like sometimes you have to take a step back, look at yourself outside, like, all right, maybe that's not my level right now. Maybe you could get there. You have an opportunity to move up and stuff, but sometimes you have to look at yourself in the mirror.
yeah. And I think with what I'm doing and what we're doing at D3 Direct, we will always encourage kids to follow the path that you did, which is for the most part, I think best outcomes come from staying at one school, being at a school for 4 years, developing those relationships with people, you know, knowing your professors, getting a degree. When you transfer around, it's not guaranteed that
Oh my,
your credits are going to
yeah.
roll over. Like,
Oh my God. No one talks about those credits, man. No one, I'm so glad I didn't grow up in like a transfer portal era. Cause I think young me, 18-year-old me might have been like, oh, I want to go to even if it was D3, like, oh, I want to go to a different school or something like that. Like, nah, that would then even people I know that transferred is like, oh yeah, this class didn't transfer over. I gotta stay an extra semester. I'm like, nah, that sounds like the worst thing ever.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to go through any of that.
I mean, what do you think you got out of that experience at Endicott? Like, you were there for 4 years. I know you guys were COVID shortened in
Hmm.
your senior year, which was obviously unfortunate. But like, what do you look back on about that experience and like and reflect on from those 4 years?
Um, I know a lot of like it sounds cliche when people are like, "Oh, I wouldn't change a thing," but like I honestly wouldn't change a thing. Like my like basketball wise, it didn't go how I wanted it to. Honestly, like I started my freshman year, I was a six man. I played maybe like 18 minutes a game. Sophomore year, like 25 minutes a game, started every game. So junior year started every game, minutes dropped to maybe like 20 minutes a game, and I averaged maybe like 6 points or something like that. Basketball wise, didn't that I kind of needed that though. I needed like the little like punch in the face, kind of like a humbling type of thing with that. And then like I didn't even realize it in the moment, but that was setting me up for now. Like now when I'm going out here doing deals with brands and talking to all these people, like, oh, I don't care. I humbled myself already. Like I'm cool. I have no ego at all. And then with at Endicott, they have like a internship program. So I'm working internships every summer instead of like if I was at a D1 kid, I'm on campus working out every summer. So I'm leaving school with 3 or 4 internships, especially in a media field where it's kind of hard to get into. Then people are seeing, oh, he has experience. So like that kind of set me up for my beginning jobs doing this stuff. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And then, like you said, relationships, just me and a bunch of different people. Endicott was 3 hours away from where I'm from, so it was a little different from what I'm used to. But like, I met so many great people, so many different walks of life. So I'm grateful for that whole experience.
Yeah. And on the professional side, I'm sure you can't like no media company is going to take you seriously without a portfolio.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, exactly.
so I'm sure, yeah, those 3 to 4 internships, that was a game changer. And especially with how challenging the hiring environment is, like I do think the focus on being a complete person. Did you have friends that were D1 and like
Yeah,
see what were their summers like?
for like they would come home for maybe 2 weeks. Maybe like say if we were in college, you go home for maybe 2 weeks. You go to your summer session one. You're gone for 5 weeks or something. You're going back to school in 3 weeks. So it's like you're never home at all. So but for me, like, for D3, you're home all summer pretty much. So it was kind of different. And then like yeah, maybe they a few of them did graduate like a D1, you could graduate kind of early if you're taking summer courses and stuff like that. But like a lot of the times people are doing things just to get by in D1. Like at least in my experience that I've seen, it's just like, oh yeah, let me just take these classes or whatever, whatever. But D3, you kind of have to concentrate on what you want to do afterwards. What are you building towards? So you're picking your direct major and stuff like that. So I think it was like definitely like a huge difference that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And I think more often than not, at the D3 level, you can't fall through the cracks because they're small schools. And like if you're slagging off or, you know, someone in your support network, whether it's your coaches, usually it's coaches checking in on your grades and they have to navigate schedules, to set
Hmm.
practices and if people want to have labs or whatever it is, like the coaches are the first check. But then I do think like you graduate with professors that on a first name basis and
Hmm.
whatever program it was, like they're going to be checking in on you too, or maybe they're coming to your games. Like there's
Hmm.
this great system of mutual support where at D1, I just think like a lot of times, I mean, again, you can maybe back this up with anecdotes, but I had friends that would just take classes online. Like
Hmm.
they're
Especially
never,
now, that's all they take.
that's all they do, right? They
Literally,
don't,
I know kids now. Like I'll be a lot of the kids I've saw come up. They're in college. They're in like New York now or LA. I'm like, yo, are you not done with school? He's like, yeah, I'm all online. So they're like training like pros right now. Those are like the high major kids. But like you said, like I remember at D3, like if somebody was slacking on the team, their coach was getting an automatic email from the teacher. The teachers are on it. I always say I'm glad I was in that 'cause I don't think I would have liked like Endicott's not crazy big, like big lecture halls. Like I don't think I would have liked that. Like you said, it was intimate. My teachers would be like, "Oh yeah, like Jordan has a game tonight." Boom. Like they were. It was more like intimate. I think that was better for me personally for learning wise. But like you said, they're online. You're traveling around, and realistically, 95%, 98% is not going pro. It's like or not playing basketball after college. So it's like, how are you setting yourself up? And I think for me, D3 kind of helped with that. Of course, I wanted to be a D1 kid. We all did.
For
But
sure.
like, but yeah, it kind of worked out in my favor personally. So
Yeah. And I mean, when if someone looks at your stats from college, like I know you said it didn't work out how you wanted it, but like if we're being honest, like you are the top, you're in the top 1% of basketball players. Like
oh
you not
yeah.
only made it to college, you played in 25, 26 plus games the first 3 years and then COVID shortened your last year.
Mhm.
But like, it's just an expectation thing. Like I grew up in North Carolina and of course I was like, I'm gonna be a Tar Heel. Like when I
Mhm.
go to college, I'm
That was
gonna
my
play.
favorite school then too. Yep.
I'm gonna play for UNC. And it's just like at some point I got to high school and I was like, all right, the big man on my team is getting recruited by Clemson. Like I am not that. I'm not even
Mhm.
close. And so I need to be honest with myself. And I think, yeah, it's just a lot of people would hate on maybe your basketball career, but the reality, like I said, is like you are a top 1% outcome for high school basketball players.
Nah,
So
yeah, even now, shout out Myrna Brady. Like sometimes I met her through like other players. She does has like a training facility kinda. And like every time I talk to her, she's like, "Why do you always like downplay that you played basketball?" Like I will be like, "Yeah, I just played at a small D3 school, small D3 school." But she's like, "Yo, like you played college basketball. It was that was a great experience. Like not you know how many people would wish they got to play minutes and play in championship games in college." I'm like, "You're right. You're actually right. You're right." So yeah, like you said, that's something I had to learn to deal with too. Like I remember after college getting into this field of like covering basketball recording, I kind of was like quiet about my basketball career at first. Like I kind of was like, oh yeah, like it won't be the same. Like I'm covering D1 kids, they won't respect my opinion, blah blah blah. But like now I'm like, nah, like fuck that. Like I played too. Like I spent like where you had morning practice, I had morning practice. You had lifts, I had lifts. Like then I forgot what content creator it was, but he was like, yo, like these concepts are all the same. It's like, oh, baseline road. He was watching like a NCAA tournament game. He's like, yo, it's the same as D3. The guy didn't rotate over. He didn't show hands. They got an easy layup. I'm like, yeah, like these are all concepts like we're getting taught at the college level as well. The height and stuff might be different. The athleticism might be different, but it's like the same. Basketball is basketball at the end of the day, especially when you get to the college level. So yeah, it's like learning through that, learning to be like, yeah, it's cool that I went D3. I don't care at this point. So
yeah, yeah. And the people who know hoops, I think, recognize that it is, like you said, you might not be playing in front of the same gyms as high major D1, but when you go into brand deals, as you mentioned, like you've been humbled. Like you've done the
mhm.
work and you're like, I don't really have anything to lose. Like here's who I am. I have a good sense of self here. Like,
And
and
then yeah, and then I realized working in basketball, like most people on working for teams, on working in the organizations and stuff have never touched a basketball in their life. So I had a full advantage with that. So now it's like, yeah, I know I've done this. Not I didn't go to North Carolina, but I've done this a little more than most of the workforce here. So
for sure. And I think, every year during the tournament, we try to publish a list of like all the former D3 coaches and players who are leading teams in the tournament.
mhm.
And every year the group gets bigger. And then I just had this by the desk, but the book Pipeline to Pros, written by a
Mm,
former Amherst basketball player, it's like all the D3 players who are now running teams, GMs, coaches in the NBA. Like
yeah.
the network is deep and the ball knowledge is deep. So I mean, I think it's someone else's loss if they kind of doubt what the level brings from that perspective.
Yeah,
But
most people doubting it have never played at all. So it's like, all right, I know we don't care for your opinion. So,
yeah, exactly. Don't listen to people who haven't been there.
uh,
Um, I do think the legitimate gripe about the level, and especially nowadays, is cost of admission, right? Like schools are in the 80s, 90s, 90,000 per year, which is outrageous. But what I think most people don't understand is like, and I saw you talking about this the other day on one of your clips. You had like a D3 versus JUCO, like what the right route for someone would be. Um, Maybe just talk about like financial aid and how you feel like you navigated that at Endicott or like what that process looked like for you.
yeah, definitely like even like leaving prep school, like I never even I was not going to a JUCO. Like I was done grinding at that type of grind. Like I didn't want to do it, but I know people that did it and it worked out in their favor. Great for them. But I was ready to just start to be a college kid. Like so I was like, all right, let me go here. Definitely like something you and your family have to discuss, right? Like it's like maybe you guys can't afford it and you might have to look at other D3 schools or take out loans and stuff. Like I definitely still have student loans, but I also in high school got good grades. Like I was an honor student and stuff like that. I think that's where your off the court stuff helps. Like even if you're not this crazy basketball player, you yeah get school scholarships from your grades and stuff like that. Like I said, I do have student loans and stuff, but I think I'll do that 10 times over. Like if I instead of going to like a school maybe I didn't might not even have the major I wanted to or something like that. Um so yeah, I think it's just that's like I always say everything is situational. No one's situation is the same. So it's like you have to really sit down with your parents, sit down with your school guidance counselors like, "Oh, like what path could help me?" Because even there's D3 schools that I know kids that went to school, they made it paid like $5,000 a year, like just off
Right.
of them being a great student, or they were in this club, that club, they got this scholarship from this person in their town, this that scholarship. There's so many different scholarships and all that out there. You might not get a straight on athletic scholarship, but there's other ways around things and to work within things. But yeah, man, it just depends on your situation and how you view it.
For sure. And controlling what you can control. Like I think, we talked about your basketball career stats, but if you go down the list, you were three-time academic all conference. You had the highest GPA in your entire prep school, like honor society, honor roll. So that those types of things, like so many people just want to focus on, I'm an athlete, I'm a great basketball player, but
Mhm.
like they forget that in order to give yourself options and to be admissible, like you make everything easier when the grades are there, and it's going to knock like 50% off of tuition,
Right.
most likely automatically. But
Yeah, like just take like you said, control what you can control. It's not that hard to be a good student, even if you're not the brightest. Just show up. Don't be an asshole to the teacher. Do your homework. You're probably no teacher wants to see you fail at that point. So it's like, yo, just show up, do what you got to do, and you'll be okay.
I think that's so true. One of my high school coach was always had to do work at the end of the semester to get guys to make sure they were asking the teacher for extra credit or staying late and just saying like, what can I do to get me from a B to a B plus or something to help the GPA? And I do think, if you don't have that coach in your life, then keep that mindset where it's like you said, just don't piss the teacher off. They don't want to see you fail and show up and try. And most times they're not going to fail you and they'll give you a passing grade. So
Right, right.
um, yeah, yeah, I think that's helpful. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with college athletics, but it does feel like there's this splitting where D1 is getting pulled apart right now. And
Hmm.
I don't know how the low majors, you know, in your state, right? Like Hartford went
Hartford, yep.
dropped down to D3 recently. And I feel like there are a lot of other Hartfords out there that are about to drop. St. Francis, PA just went.
St.
St.
Francis did. St. Anselm just they're D2, but they just went D3.
Right. Where do you see that going? Like, I mean, 10 years from now, where do you think college basketball will be structure wise?
Even 2 years from now, I don't know, but like you said, it's kind of like a money game with those big dogs, right? So it's like all right, the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, like they're whoever has the most money right now, you're gonna most likely win, right? But then you have these low majors, like the MAC and A10's not low major, that's mid major, but like those type of schools where it's like, all right, like honestly, we're gonna get the kids, and we probably if we strike a gym, he won't be here next year. Like you're playing for that, and then I think it's just trickling down into the D2s, into the D3s. Even when I was in school, like kids would like, yeah, oh, he went to Sacred Heart or something like that. Like you might hit the portal and you might not even have a chance to go to another D1. Maybe you hit the portal, no one's looking at you, but you still want to play college basketball, you still want to be a basketball player. Now you're at the D3 level. Like, so it's like even like I'll see like high school kids that like maybe 5, 6 years ago they were for sure D1s or for sure high major players. Now they're starting out low major. So I think the talent level of everywhere is gonna move up. A lot of schools will end up going D3 and stuff like that. Even D3 players, like we see examples of that, like they get a chance to move up. So it's like I think just the talent will rise, especially with the popularity of basketball. So
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, Aaron Nkrumah right now is in the he just got called up. He went from Worcester State D3, he was all conference, then he went to Tennessee State D1, and he was going to be in the G League combine, but he played so well, he got called up to
yep, I just saw that.
the
Yep. And he
NBA
didn't even I
combine
think he went to Nichols his freshman year or
and didn't
something. I
even
saw
play.
didn't even play. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know, I think in the heart of this, like you said, it is a money game, which is unfortunate, and there are going to be negative consequences of that. But the player movement piece of it, I think, is will always be a net good. That like an Aaron can move up and can get
Hmm.
that opportunity. Like who was the other one that just got drafted last year? I'm trying to think. He almost went to Duke. He's on the Grizzlies now. Um,
Oh,
Chris, Chris
I know exactly who you're talking about. I
I
forgot.
cannot remember his name for the life of me right now, but it'll come to me.
Yeah.
He went to Willamette for his first year though.
Mhm.
Started D3, but ended up moving up, which is I think is a good thing. So um yeah. I think moving back to the business side of things, like I read this great feature on you after your the slam internship that we talked about. And in the closing couple paragraphs, it's COVID and you're talking about how you're bummed, but that, you have this vision of yourself in 10 years, maybe working for a major media outlet or something. And like, I would say, you've accomplished that. Barstool is a big brand and you have your own presence. Like, what is your next vision? Like for ShakeHoops, for Jordan Pettway personally, 5 to 10 years down the road? Because
Um,
the one you said previously came true.
yeah, I was gonna say that my a lot of things happened for me really quick. I'm definitely grateful for a lot of opportunities that's been thrown my way, and then just like the work ethic I've built through playing sports my whole life kind of helped me. I always tell people that's like a really tough question for me 'cause I'm kind of like living my dreams right now. Like I thought I was just gonna be a video editor for hopefully a company, and I was gonna sit at my computer all day, but like opening up and starting to talk about the game and still being able to film and edit when I have to. But I like now a lot of people might not even know that. They probably, oh yeah, he just talks about basketball. But it's like I'm doing like all the behind the scenes stuff. I want to learn every aspect of this. Who knows where it could bring me? Maybe one day I'm a scout or something. Maybe people will trust me with that. Maybe one day I'm talking on TV or something. I don't know where it can bring me. I'm open to everything. I just right now I'm still trying to learn. Like working in this industry, I meet people they're 40 years old, 45 years old, 50 years old, CEO of this, marketing director of this. So me being 28, like I'm older than I was in college when that article came out, but I'm still like trying to be a sponge and learn as much as I can, just to excel and keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think you have a great like presence and voice on camera, but I'm sure that is a hard transition to go from behind the scenes to like, okay, my face is going to be out there. Like what was that process like for you?
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. That was honestly, I wish I started talking a little earlier. Like I would do it here and there. Like I would just like talk over it. Then I'm like, nah, that's not for me. Like I'm an editor. I'm an editor. But honestly, working around like talent helped me with that. Honestly, like being around Pat Bev so much, and Roan, starting out my career with them, and overtime Mikey, him too at overtime. Like the being around them, they were never like scared to say something. They were never scared to be on the camera. They were ready to turn it on. Like how they were on the camera was how they were off the camera too. Like and me just being around that, being like a young 22, 23-year old, I was like, yeah, like I like that. Like I like how they don't really care. So I kind of like was like, all right, if I'm gonna cover basketball, I played basketball. Let me just try to talk about it. Because originally I just wanted to talk to give a platform for my videos. Like I just wanted people to know, all right, he's the face that's making these videos, but they kind of took on a life of its own. And then people started to like trust my opinion and stuff like that. So yeah, like now it's like, all right, like I'm cool with this talking stuff. I like to like people gonna come at me and stuff like that, but it's like it's all good. It's all just for the love of basketball at the end of the day. So
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Um, where can people find your stuff? I know Shake Hoops is the handle on Instagram and Twitter. Any other places?
yeah, Shake Hoops everywhere. On YouTube, Shake Squad Media. That's more like my long form content. Then if you want to see me talking on podcasts, I'm on Hooping and Hollering with Barstool Sports. And then I also talk about the grassroots stuff where you've seen the D3 JUCO stuff in this podcast called The Basketball List. So all those places pretty much where I'm chatting it up. So
Nice. Nice. And then last but not least, like your relationship with Endicott, like just the connections there, like and what do you think they're going to be doing next year on the court?
Endicott was gonna be I'm not gonna say rebuilding year, reloading because we're losing Marcus Montejanino, he played club basketball at Xavier, then just came back home and dominated D3. But yeah, they were really good this past year. I was happy to see that. To see Coach B and them win. They haven't won in a while. They haven't been to the championship since we went in 2020. So that was cool to see. Um, Hopefully they could do it again. They got to Sweet 16 this year. We were talking beforehand where they got cheated because they should have had a home game. But the ad I don't we don't got to talk about that. But next year hopefully admin does the work and all that. And we could get back to it. But yeah, man, goal goals always. The nest was home. Even when I made that video when they made it the head of the social media was like, yo, like we love you. Well, we're always looking out for you. We love everything that you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, that was home for 4 years. So yeah, I loved it there. I had a good time.
Strong. Shout out Endicott. Finally, you could go back and talk to your 17-year-old self or 18-year-old Jordan at prep school. What advice are you giving him?
Mm, 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I would just tell him to chill out. It'll be okay. Just relax a little bit. I was kind of pressed with everything. I had to get like a few shoulder surgeries. Then I was trying to like play through everything and all of that. So I would just tell him to relax. We'll be okay. Soak it all in. And yeah, we'll be okay. So yeah.
Good advice. I'm sure a lot of high schoolers could benefit from that reassurance and kind of yeah, patience right
Hmm.
now. There's a
Yeah,
lot, a
patience
lot,
for sure.
a lot heaped on them at the moment. So,
Right.
well, Jordan, thank you. Any closing thoughts? Any people you want to give a shout out to before we wrap it up here?
Um. I do want to shout out my I did start something called Thank You Basketball with my guy Drew Sawyer. He also went to Endicott. He graduated before me, who I mentioned earlier in the video. We're trying to give light to New England basketball culture. So that's like all the top players, no matter your Division One, two, or three. Just me being able to travel around the country, even the world. I went to China last year with this. Just being able to see all the talent. Now I realize, yeah, like there's talent in these smaller areas too. They just have to like get the exposure. So we're trying to give stuff back to that. So shout out, thank you, basketball. Um, starting a lot of stuff with that too. So yeah, should be fun.
Love it. Yeah, and all those links for anyone who wants to check out Jordan's work, Shake Hoops is the handle on Instagram. Thank you basketball, hooping and hollering, and the basketball lists are all tagged there, as well as the YouTube channel. So yeah, good, all good stuff. We'll be following along. I cannot wait to see where it goes for you. Yeah, I mean, I think the content speaks for itself, and anyone who's watched it can see that. So sky's the limit, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, Jordan, be easy, and we will see you on the next episode of the Student Athlete Sessions. As always, let us know who you want us to interview next. It all they had to do was be a D3 athlete and doing something cool in the world. So we will see you next time.